Hi folks, I'm gonna show you guys. Man, I am so frustrated that the first time I recorded a 20 minutes video, I recorded with my mic off. So sorry if I'm a bit frustrated now. But basically, I'm gonna show you guys how the GLTech works. And first of all, what is GLTech 2 and what it's capable of. So deleting everything I did. GLTech 2 is basically a 3D engine that uses the technique of raycasting to render things to the screen. I do not use any library like OpenGL, DirectX, or anything like that to draw things to the screen. I do not use GPU to draw, I just use CPU. And why does that work on the CPU if the CPU wasn't made for that? It works because raycasting is so fast, it's so optimal that even on CPU, even by running on an intermediate language like C#, it works and it runs fast. If you have enough CPUs, of course. I have 12 cores. So let's go. GLTech uses the technique called raycasting. Let me quickly search for it just to showcase you. How does raycasting work? As you can see here, for each, it just casts a horizontal line of rays. For each pixel that's right here, for instance, it casts a ray that goes through this pixel and calculates the distance to the first object that it collides, like the first wall that it collides. And based on that distance, it will render a smaller column if the wall is far away, and a bigger column, a longer column if it's closer to you. By doing that, it's kind of like ray tracing, but you do not have to ray trace for every single pixel of the screen. You just ray trace a horizontal line. So Wolfenstein 3D, which was the first ever FPS game, Wolfenstein E1M1. This is the first map. Let's check for videos. This game, as in at that time, it was like 92. There wasn't GPUs for gaming. Let me just mute it. Man, I hate these betting companies so much. Oh my god. Okay. Let me just quickly show. This was a very old game which used to run pretty well on older computers. This is the game basically. You're an American soldier and you have to defeat the Nazists. So going back to GLTech, Doom was also, if you know Doom 1, Doom 2, it also used raycasting to render. It's not 3D, it's actually a 2D map that fakes height with some pretty clever techniques. So going back to GLTech, GLTech basically does the same. As you can see here in the renderer, the function that renders everything, calculates every single pixel using vectors and etc. Like you can see in draw column, it calculates everything and draws to the buffer, just like this screen call line. Like I'm literally mapping pixels from textures and throwing them in a buffer. Okay, how do I use GLTech 2? Let's go. Let's first create a map. We declare a map. The best way to declare a map is like this: class map extends scene, just like this. And in the constructor of this map, I can declare new map, public map, just like this. And inside this map, I'm gonna declare something. Like for instance, let's say I'm just gonna create a plane. Just a visible plane for now. How can I create a plane? First, let's create a texture for the plane. Var text equals, I'm just gonna create a very simple texture, like texture dot from color, and this color is gonna be 255 0. Does that work? Okay, this is the image that's gonna be spit out of the texture. Now let's create a plane. For plane, sorry, equals new plane, and we have to pass the coordinates of the plane. Let's say the plane starts at, you can pass a tuple that's it's gonna be converted into the vector, right? It starts at -1f, 1f. It ends at 1f, 1f, and the texture is gonna be text. Okay, this is the plane. Now we have to add the plane to the scene. How do we add? We call this dot add because we're inheriting scene, so we don't even need this keyword. But I'm gonna let this with the this just to. I can even let super. What's happening? Okay, super doesn't work. This dot add plane. Just add the plane, and it's fine. It's okay. You have just added the plane to the scene. Now declare the scene equals to new map. Let's create our own map. And now just render it. Render dot run, sorry, the scene. Just a moment, I'm gonna place it a bit more okay, 2 and 3. I think it's fine. I'm gonna see the plane in an angle. And now just play. Just start the engine and you're gonna see a yellow plane in an angle. Okay, let's have more fun with it. Let's add some scripts to the camera. Let's set up the camera. Every scene comes from factory with a camera on it, which is the main camera of the scene. We can pick like the camera and add some scripts to it. Let's add the mouse look script to the camera. We can take like, let's remove the this keyword. Camera.add script, and we're gonna pass the type of the mouse look, just like that. Let's check it. Why isn't it working? I think I probably have to set up the renderer to render the capture mouse true. Render dot what else? Full screen. Let's set it to full screen. Let's check it. Okay, now we can move our camera with the mouse and also with the keyboard. No, the keyboard doesn't work. I think, is there render.capture? Okay, just the mouse. Okay, amazing. Let's add some movement to the camera. Camera.add script. Flat movement. Does it work? No, it doesn't. I have to, okay. For the movement scripts, we have to declare a kinematic body, which is something that handles velocity. How do we declare a kinematic body? A kinematic body is basically another script script body equals new no clip. It's basically a normal script. And then we create the flat movement script. Script flat movement. No, let's just call it movement equals new flat movement. And we pass in the kinematic body we're using. Okay, now we gotta add both scripts to the camera. Camera.add scripts. Both the body and the movement. Just like that. Now we might be able to move using the keyboard. Okay, I can rotate my screen using my keyboard now, and I can also move like this. However, I'm gonna go through walls. Let me just add another plane. That's why I declare scopes, because I can reuse the variables. Let's add plane 2. This plane is gonna be magenta. You can also declare colors like 0x. Well, I don't remember. I think it's FF 00FF. Let's check if it's magenta. Let's place it at 3, and here it's gonna be 4. No, it's gonna be 4, 4. Amazing. Let's just check the planes. Okay, now there are 2 planes, a yellow plane and a magenta plane that you can clearly see. I cannot jump using the no clip movement. And you can only see the planes from one perspective. That's because there's a technique called cooling, where I choose which plane I want to render. Okay. Let's add some nice texture to these planes. How do I declare a texture in a map? First off, I have to declare the image. I have to create the image. Image buffer equals new. Let's call it golden. It's gonna be new image. I don't even need the image keyword. And I'm gonna take it from the resources. I have set some resources here, and there are 2 different textures, the golden and the universe. Let's call it resources.golden. I have just created an image. However, this image is a buffer in the memory that I have to release whenever this scene is released. So I protected, override, void, delete, and tell it to golden.dispose. Okay. Sorry. Okay, it's gonna just to prevent memory leaks. Now let's set this texture to be not from color, but a new texture using the golden texture. Let's see what happens to the first plane. Now we've got some nice texture to it. Let's add some texture to this to the second plane. Okay, golden universe dispose, and as well text, it's gonna be new texture universe, just like that, and we're gonna see 2 textures. We can also handle collisions in GLTech 2. Like you can see, I'm going through walls. How do I handle collisions? First off, we gotta, instead of using a plane, we gotta use, let's just use a collider first. And a collider doesn't have a texture. If I declare a collider, you're gonna see that the first plane is now invisible. I can't see it. However, I go through it. What's happening? Where's the collider? That's because I also have, that's the need of the kinematic body that you just saw. Let's see the kinematic body I'm using. I'm using a kinematic body that's called no clip. It doesn't clip your movement whenever you're gonna hit a wall. What should I do instead? Let's declare a point collider. This point collider is gonna stop us from moving whenever there's a wall. Let's check it. You can't see anything here. However, if I try to move, you see that I'm colliding with something that I can't go through. This is the collider. More interestingly, instead of declaring a collider, we can declare a wall, which is basically a shorthand for a collider plus a plane. Let's check the class wall. The class wall does exactly that. Whenever you declare a wall, you're creating a plane and a collider, and the plane is gonna have a texture. Let's check it. Here's the wall, and I can't go through it anymore. Through this guy I can go. Through this guy I can't. Just from behind because of the cooling. Okay, so what else does GLTech allow you to do? There are some different movement techniques. I'm using the flat movement because it's the simpler. But instead of more than the flat movement, there's the Quake 1 movement. What is Quake 1 movement? It's basically a movement that allows you to jump. And this is another feature that GLTech allows you. It renders height. It allows you to render a height different from the zero, from the level. And this movement basically imitates the bunny jumping from Quake 1, as you can see here. I'm like just bunny hopping. It's hard to see in this map, so let's dive into the map from the first game, Wolfenstein 3D. Let's just change the way it builds to be the demos. Let's build it. Now, Wolfenstein 3D. I think I pressed the wrong key. This is the same map from Wolfenstein 3D I just shown, and I bunny jumping through the map. I can gain a lot of speed, and it's pretty funny to bunny jump like this. Please don't panic. I'm not. This isn't even Nazi symbol, and this is not Hitler because he doesn't have a mustache. And people usually panic when they see this map because of the Nazi symbols, but man, trust me, this game you're an enemy of the Nazists. Like you gotta defeat the Nazist guys. So basically, this is what the GLTech is capable of. I actually just forgot to show how the scripting works, but just to quickly show how scripting works, it's pretty similar to Unity 3D. Scripts prefab. Quake 1 movement. How does a script work? Basically, every script, it'll have a onStart function, which is going to be run when the scene starts, an onFrame function, which is going to be run on every frame. And then inside the onFrame or inside the script, you can always use frame.deltaTime, which is like time.deltaTime from Unity 3D, which you can use to update position, update speeds, and you can use to update your kinematic body, which is the guy that's going to be responsible for handling velocity and handling movement and handling collisions. That's it. Thank you for watching. Sorry for the long video. And this is GLTech, which is my favorite personal project ever, and I'm very proud of making it. It's pretty funny making the GLTech work. It's pretty fun. It's pretty addicting, to be honest, to be like bunny jumping in the map. So thank you guys.